What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This here is biased news, like I say, because nobody else seems to be willing to say that their news is biased. And it's pretty much clear that it is. How y'all doing? I'm doing alright. Hope y'all are having a good day too. Before we get into it, once again, if you don't mind, could you please look right below, hit that like button, smash it, knock it out, do whatever the hell you gotta do to punch that like button. It not only it helps the channel grow, but it helps me out and, lets me know what you guys actually want to hear coming from me. Now, if you're not subscribed and you want to keep up to date on some more obscure news that the mainstream media is not covering, right here is where you need to come, because that's what I cover. Mostly political. Sometimes I cover some cultural stuff, but mostly politics, because politics rules the nation, and we need to know exactly what our politicians are doing out there, just like what Joe Biden is doing right now. And that's our topic for today. Let's get into it, y'all. So, Biden's at it again. Biden is dangling border security money to try to get billions more for Israel and Ukraine. The exact opposite of what you would want. He's trying to lump all these things into one giant bill package to coax people into voting for something that he wants. He's giving other people stuff that they want. To me, that is just dirty politics and should be eliminated from politics completely. Should be eradicated. Get rid of that crap. Single subject spending, man, it's the way to go. It might be more work, but that's what those politicians are there to do. They're not there to be on vacation or to funnel money to their district so they can get more votes from their constituents. That's what I don't understand about these politicians, man. If they would just do their job and actually represent the people that vote them into power, they would have no issues from people like me and from people like you if they would just do the stuff that we want them to do. Vote for the right things. Let the people be heard in Washington when it comes time to vote on some of these laws. But instead, they just worry about their political power too much, and they just do whatever they can do to keep them in that power. And Joe Biden, I tell you, is an ultimate failure at that. He is doing nothing but pissing everybody off. But let's get into it before I rant for days. President Joe Biden is trying to sweeten his pitch for more money for Ukraine by mixing in billions of dollars for securing the U.S.-Mexico border in the hope it will bring more Republicans on board. See what I mean? Dirty politics, man. The idea came up late last month after Ukraine assistance was stripped out of a stopgap measure to keep the government running due to growing Republican resistance to financing the war effort. A lot has changed since September 30th. The House has lost its speaker and Republicans are in disarray over selecting a new one. And the October 7th Hamas attack on Israel has prompted a much bigger funding request by the White House. Yeah, a much bigger funding request, as we're about to see. It's not at all clear that including roughly $14 billion in border money included as part of the $106 billion spending package the White House sent to Congress on Friday will placate those who are resisting. The border has never been a money issue, said Representative Dan Crenshaw of Texas. It has always been a policy issue, so we need to get in a room, go to the White House, and sort that out. The conflict in the Middle East may have pulled some of the spotlight away from the U.S.-Mexico border for now, but the migration challenges facing the U.S. are growing increasingly intractable. Democratic leaders at both the state and local level are begging for federal assistance to help care for migrant families living in squalid shelters and sleeping in police stations. Republicans are loudly critical of Biden's border policies as too lax, and Congress has not passed an immigration overhaul in decades. You know what? That is totally true. If Biden's border policies would have just stayed with what Trump was doing, you wouldn't have to worry about these migrants living in squalor. Okay, it might be better than what they were living in before. Who knows? But who the hell wants to be living in police stations or some migrant home encampment? That is just totally wrong, in my opinion. I wish these people would have stayed where they were at. You might get it wrong, me railing against this crap. I'm not against immigrants, okay? I'm against illegal immigrants. If you want to come here, do it the right way. That's all I'm saying. Go through the proper channels, get your citizenship, and live a good life. Live a better life. Don't try to come across that border illegally. There are rising numbers of migrants at the border. Arrests for illegal crossings along the U.S.-Mexico line were up 21% to 218,763 last month. And Biden has repeatedly said Congress should act to fix outdated immigration laws. But in the meantime, his administration has developed policies that aim to deter migrants from making a dangerous and often deadly journey while also opening up new legal immigration pathways. I don't believe that. Most of the people that live in the South don't believe that because these people haven't slowed down at all. Yeah, he may have started building more wall, but he's still not doing anything to stop these people from coming. The funding request is an attempt not only to manage people crossing the U.S.-Mexico border, but also to deal with the growing numbers of migrants who are already here waiting for their cases to play out. What about all the illegals that came? They didn't mention nothing about that. The White House proposal includes $1.6 billion to hire 1,600 new asylum officers and processing personnel, which could double the number of people working on asylum cases. It also suggests $1.4 billion to add 375 immigration judges and their teams in addition to money for 1,300 new Border Patrol agents. There is $4.4 billion for Homeland Security efforts, including increased funding for holding facilities as the administration works to quickly deport those who do not qualify for asylum. That's a real effort and acknowledgement of the backlog that exists, said Colleen Putzel, an associate policy analyst at the Migration Policy Institute, an immigration think tank. There's also $1.3 billion requested for regional migration centers outside the U.S., a new effort brokered by the Biden administration to encourage would-be migrants to stay where they are and apply for asylum before crossing the deadly Darien Gap between South and Central America. The request also includes $1.4 billion to help state and local governments provide shelter and services for migrants following pleas from Democratic mayors and governors who want more assistance in caring for newly arriving migrants. But New York City alone is expecting to spend more than $5 billion on the issue by the end of the budget year. You know what? That's good for them. Spend all the money you want. Take in all the illegal immigrants you would like. You called yourself a sanctuary city for migrants. Well, by God, you're getting all the migrants you want. And like Mayor Eric Adams said, it's going to destroy New York City. And the people there seem to be quite pissed off. You got the police protecting illegal migrants against the protests of the citizens that are already there. That tells you about the sentiments of the people in this country. We have been flooded with migrants. We can only take in so many people before we can no longer help them, and they become a burden on the already crumbling system that we have. You know, stuff isn't looking good right now, and these migrants are only exacerbating that problem. New York Mayor Eric Adams went to Mexico to implore would-be migrants not to come. He has accused the Biden administration of not providing enough money or resources for the city to process migrants, telling reporters in the summer, the president and the White House have failed New York City on this issue. Yeah, they've failed everybody. You know, if they would stop funding foreign wars, keep our nose out of places that it does not belong, we might have more money to help people like Mayor Eric Adams and to help cities with this migrant crisis. You know, if they would have just finished the damn border wall that Trump started and kept those policies in place, we wouldn't have this crisis right now. But hey, hindsight's 2020. How could Biden have known that doing that would cause this issue? Oh, Lord, I know. You'd have to be an idiot to think that doing what Biden did would not exacerbate the problem and send a flood of, what is it now, like 6 million people across the border? Yeah. Biden's a complete idiot, an utter failure, and really, he needs to be kicked out of the White House. You guys, hopefully, 2024, when we vote for a new president, the American people will see the light and vote for somebody other than Joe Biden. In Chicago, O'Hare International Airport is now housing hundreds of migrants, from babies to the elderly, at a shuttle bus center. They sleep on cardboard pads and on the floor and share airport bathrooms. The governor has been clear about the state's urgent need for additional federal resources to address this crisis, said Alex Go, speaking for Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, a Democrat. They had to point that out. Everybody knows he's a fucking Democrat. While we are hopeful the Biden administration will be able to take further action soon, allocating any new funding would require the GOP members in the House to get their act together and do their jobs. Yeah, good luck with that. We can't even, in normal circumstances, when we have a Speaker of the House, get Congress to do their damn jobs. They want to lump all these spending packages together and send them out like that because it's easier to vote for something when you have no idea what you're voting for. Sure, just wheel out 6,000 pages of omnibus crap and just say, hey, here, vote for this, even though you don't know what's in it. Spending money that we don't have. Yeah, that's a great idea. Massachusetts Governor Healey said the money was urgently needed for states like Massachusetts that are experiencing historic surges in migrant arrivals, and we appreciate the Biden administration's acknowledgement that these funds need to be distributed more equitably. Yeah, of course, distributed more equitably. Yeah, don't distribute it where it's needed. Distribute it evenly everywhere. That makes a lot more sense. This whole equity crap to me is just so stupid. Things cannot be equitable when you have inequalities all over the place. You can't just spread money out evenly when it's needed a lot more in some areas and a lot less in others. How completely stupid is that? It's unclear how any spending package can pass. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy was ousted by fellow Republicans, and there's no leader in sight. Yeah, there is. Sorry, you're an idiot. Republicans are already pushing back on using funds to help people who are already in the country, rather than for limiting those at the border. A group of Republican senators met Thursday to discuss proposals that they would support. After a classified briefing with administration officials on Wednesday, Senator Kevin Cramer said he'd be inclined to support the money for Israel and Ukraine as long as there was a strong border security component. But it's got to be designed to secure the border, not to facilitate travel through the border, he said. Texas Republican Senator John Cornyn posted online Friday that he supported aid to Israel and Ukraine, but without meaningful and substantive policy changes that will address the Biden border crisis, such aid is in serious jeopardy, he posted on X. No more money should be spent simply to facilitate current border policies. It's unclear if compromise is possible on the issue. No, there's plenty compromise possible. It's getting these people to separate all this crap. Let's vote for Ukraine funding. As a matter of fact, in my opinion, let's not vote for Ukraine funding. Let's vote for Israel funding. Let's vote for border funding. Separate all this crap and do your fucking work and get the damn job done. That's my opinion. What's your opinion? Let me know what you think, guys. How should we deal with this migrant crisis? I'm all for building a wall and all for making it harder for people to illegal enter this country and making it a lot more easy to get in this country through legal means. We need it to be more easy. We do need more people to adjudicate some of these migrant issues. Sorry. If it means spending more tax dollars to stop the flow of illegals that come across and come into this country, by all means, let's do it. But guys, we've got to do something. We can't just sit on our hands. We need to vote in a Speaker of the House, like I discussed on the last video. We need to get somebody in there. Byron Donald seems to be a good choice. Let's just do something, okay? Instead of just yelling about it and talking to the internet and getting mad about it on YouTube. That's my job, though. I'm telling you, man. We've got so many issues right now, we really don't need to be sending funding elsewhere. We need to fix home first. You know, I do love it. They talk about asylum seekers all the time. That is the biggest crock of shit, in my opinion. 99.9% of people that come across that border illegally are not asylum seekers. They're economic migrants. But the mainstream news is not willing to say that whatsoever. They like to call them asylum seekers because it pulls at your heartstrings. How could you turn away somebody who's seeking political asylum from their third world country where they're living in squalor and terrible and conditions are so bad? How could you turn them away? Right? That's what they do to you. They're tricking you. They're fooling you into thinking these people are asylum seekers. You know what? Tell me if you would agree with this. Tell these people they're economic migrants. They're looking to come here to have a better life. Do you disagree with turning away somebody who wants to come here for a better life? I know I'm not. I can't see anybody turning somebody away for that. Sure, come one, come all. Just come in the right way. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I got for this one, y'all. I want to thank everybody for watching. And like I said, you guys, hit that like button. Let me know what you think down in the comments. You know what? Do it at the same time if you can. Smash the like button and leave a comment at the same exact time. And let me know if you were successful in doing so. I will await your answers in the comments. Thanks for watching, y'all. And have a good one. Be positive. Peace.